Welcome to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Coopersmith, a doctor-prepared nurse practitioner, and this show is about empowering you to live a radiant, healthy, and balanced life. I'm very excited to welcome back again today's guest, Jerry Coopersmith, who you may remember is my husband and also my hiking partner on the Appalachian Trail.
Hello.
So thanks for coming back and sharing our latest episode.
You told me to be here.
Yeah. All right. So we went back to Georgia. So if you all have been following, we did some parts of Georgia on the Appalachian Trail. It's actually our first hike together. But we left some parts undone, so we decided to go back. So how was your experience going back to Georgia?
I have notes. I've made notes of because this is the thing. When you look at a map,
Yeah.
you could see the elevation if you know how to read the elevation.
We're getting better.
You can see the distance, right? But that doesn't tell you the full picture about the terrain. And today, I'm going to dissect the Appalachian Trail for everybody out there.
Oh.
And I'm talking through hikers as well as day hikers. So stay tuned because this is going to be an important episode.
All right. So we will detail section by section the hikes we just did. So on this trip, we did a total of 42.1 miles. And our total so far on the Appalachian Trail is 132 miles. So
That's 10 miles less than my calculations.
Out of 2,000 or so. So we're almost there. Good start. Okay. So we went back and we returned to Blood Mountain.
Yes, we did. I was afraid of Blood Mountain. Blood Mountain has been looming in the background ever since we started this whole thing.
Yes.
And so I was very anxious to get it out of the way. We had a 10.8 mile hike.
Yes, we did. So we hiked from Woody Gap to Neal Gap, which included Blood Mountain. And the last time we went to Georgia, it was actually our first trip, and we said, ooh, that's too much for a starting hike. So we put it off till this time.
Well, I was very afraid. I don't do well in the heat.
Okay.
And so I was worried about that we scheduled it in May because I know May can get hot in the south. But it wasn't that bad. The temperature was actually pretty good.
It was in the 70s. So on this day, it was actually a little bit humid.
Right you are. I remember that.
So not as bad coming from Florida. We're used to the hot weather, but it was a little humid that day. And we actually ran a little short on water.
We did. So what happened at first, it's deceptive. Now, so again, folks, we're talking about Woody Gap to Neal Gap, right? That's day one?
That's the one.
Woody Gap to Neal Gap is what we're talking about, 10.8 miles. The beginning, I said, this is nothing. I must be in wonderful
Is that what
shape.
you said?
Did I say that?
This is nothing? Yeah.
Oh, I said something else. This is aren't children listening? I don't want to say that.
You may have said, we're never going to make it. We're never going to get off the mountain.
No, well, that was at different miles. I was saying different things. So in any case, there was one point we ran into a lady, and she looked me up and down, and she said, "It's rough up there. It's rough up ahead." And
she didn't have confidence, you think?
Right, and I was running low on water, and this is what I found out. See if any of you, the rest of you know this. You know where it has little signs periodically that say water? There's not a water buffalo out there like in the military. That's just water, and you need a filter. So that's the first lesson that we learned is get a water filter. Have it. They're small. It's like so easy to use, really. It's like silly. And but having a water filter, because we didn't even know we were just bringing bottled water, and when you run out, you're kind of done.
Yeah, so we usually pack enough for the day. You had a bottle fall out of your pack or something, but I accidentally packed an extra one. So we were okay. But it was like, well, we should have a little filter just in case we get stuck out here and we need some water. Now, for the people that maybe haven't been on the trail, there are signs periodically that will point to water. Also on your maps, and there are different apps we'll talk about, it'll say there's a water source coming up. Right. And that can be anything from a waterfall to a stream. Sometimes, like at this time of year, it's absolutely fine. But I hear or I read that sometimes in the summer they do dry up. So having your own water is still a good idea.
It's a good idea, but also remember that those filters are not very heavy, and they really don't take up a lot of extra room and all that, and it's very important to have.
Yep.
So then Blood Mountain comes up.
Yeah.
The thing that's been scaring me all this time, right? And then, like I said, the lady looked me up and down. She said, "Yeah, it's a little bad up there." I don't know what she wanted me to do. Can I call for a helicopter? I don't know. So in any case, I had to trudge ahead, and it was a little rough getting up there. But then we reached the summit, Blood Mountain, and it was pretty cool. And we went up. There's an area that you can go up and stand actually above. There's a shelter there, and you can stand up above it.
Yep. So we had to climb up a rock to truly be at the summit. Now, there are shelters periodically along the trail, and this one, the one at Blood Mountain, was actually quite nice. It was made of stone. It was just a bigger structure, more impressive than the others that I've seen.
Right.
And we did meet a young man. Well, he's in his 30s now, but at the top of the mountain, we met that family, and the man said, "I came here as a boy, and I slept in that shelter."
Yeah. I met another guy out there, and I want to talk about some things on the trail. Did you realize that there's a dating possibility on the Appalachian Trail?
Are you looking for a date?
I'm not looking for a date personally, but I mean, there's actually terminology for people that hook up on the Appalachian Trail. Did you know that?
I have heard of that.
Do you know what it's called?
Pink blazing.
That's right.
I don't know if people go out there looking for a partner.
Oh, I think they're looking for it.
I think that maybe it happens.
Yeah, which brings me to my next character. And there was a very friendly dude out there, but he was wearing like the tightest spandex thing I ever seen. And,
Yeah, he was wearing like a hiking outfit with like tights, and it didn't leave a whole lot to the imagination.
Nothing at all.
No.
He was very friendly, though. Okay, so was Blood Mountain easier or harder than expected? I made notes. Was it easier or harder than expected? Okay, so here's the problem. Like, we thought it was done. And there was little raindrops coming down and everything like that. And we thought, oh, this is done. We'll just get off the mountain now. We made it.
There were only 2 miles to go.
2 miles to go. And this fellow with the tight pants said to me, it's a little rough over that way, just like the lady said. Everybody says, when I was I was a single parent for a while. Everybody used to say to me, "Oh, you think it's bad now? Just wait."
Just wait. Yeah.
Why do people say that to other people?
It's a terrible thing to say. Don't say that.
It is. But he said the next 2 miles are going to be a little something. They were. So when you are going from Woody Gap to Neal Gap, look out for those last 2 miles. They are downhill over rocks. And if it's raining, it's
Which it
slick.
was. Yeah.
So you got to be careful of that. That guy with the tight pants was not kidding.
Yeah, those last 2 miles were rough, and it was downpour raining.
Yes.
So it was slippery. It was tough. We were tired. And we did eventually make it back. And another note for this section, we couldn't park at Neal Gap, which is kind of a cool place with a building and stuff. We had to go to the Byron Reese parking place. That was about a mile off trail. So it wasn't a big deal. Like, we got back to our car without problem. I mean, it was terrible rain. But technically there was 1 mile of trail that between the parking lot and Neal Gap that we didn't hike. That was kind of bothering me in the back of my head. Like, we didn't actually finish the section. And I wasn't sure how important that was, but it was kind of on my mind.
So, but that is something too. We'll get back to how she did that. But just know you're not going to be able to park if you're day parking. You're not going to be able day hiking. You're not going to be able to park at Neal Gap anymore. You have to park at Byron Reese, right? They don't let you.
Which is close by, but it's.
There's a dude even that comes out and says,
Can't park here.
"Yeah, you can't park here." So just be aware of that if you're doing that.
Yeah.
Favorite memory of the day? Guy with the tight pants. I mean, no, going to the top of the view at the top of Blood Mountain.
So I do want to backtrack for a second. We've mentioned how we're doing this. We hire a shuttle driver. We park our car where we're going to finish for the day, and then the driver takes us to the beginning. So when we were preparing for this trip, we called our old driver, Tom, who was our driver before in Georgia, and we mentioned his blind dog, Peppy, who we loved. Well, we found out Peppy died very sad. And then Tom was out of the country, but he said, no problem. I have a guy for you. So he gave us the name of this other guy. And we said, okay, great. And hey, we contacted him. He agreed to take us. And like I always do, I gave him our route. And I said, hey, what do you think about this route? And he called me and he said, I don't know anything about the Appalachian Trail. And I said, and you're our driver. And he said, yeah, I'm doing Tom a favor. And so this was like the day before we left. And I thought, oh, that's not ideal. But he ended up being a good guy. His name was Jim.
He was a great guy. And that's what he didn't know about the Appalachian Trail.
Now he does.
and he knows how to drive up into areas that I would have been afraid to take the car. So that's another thing to think about. Some of these areas that these what do they call them when you're
the gaps?
The gaps. Every car can't make it. And so you need to really take that into account, the terrain, and always feel it's going to be worse than what it actually is.
Expect the worst.
Expect the worst, right. So I think we should go on to day 2, right? Are you done with that?
Yeah, let's talk about day 2.
Okay, that's the 14.5 mile thing. Now, I said when I started this, I will not hike in the snow. And I hiked in the snow. I said I will not hike in the middle of the summer. Well, there that goes. And I said I won't go over 10 miles. And, well, we did 14.5. So I have no ability to make my own decisions.
So on this day, we went from Hog Pen Gap to Unicoi Gap. And there was a way we could have split it up, but it involved a 2-mile side trail. So we would have added about 4 miles onto the whole thing. And one of those days would have been 12 miles anyway. So we said, you know what? Let's just do the 14.5. So how did that day go?
It was hell. No, it was. so at the beginning, not so bad. My mind, also your mindset is very important. If you know you're going to be walking 14.5 miles, you're probably, you can make things harder on yourself. Like I found that around 6 miles, I was starting to really get fatigued, and I brought enough water that, but that wasn't the problem. But I knew we had 14.5 miles. So, I don't want to get right to the end. Let's see. At what point did the miles start to add up? At about mile 6. And it's what keeps you moving when your legs are tired. I complain.
Yeah.
I get agitated and I complain. What? Doesn't everyone do that?
So my feelings, it wasn't that bad for the first 9.8 miles, right? So the elevation wasn't bad. I mean, yeah, it was a longer day, but it wasn't that bad. We got to the Chattahoochee Gap, and that's where we could have taken the side trail, which is Jack's Gap Trail. And so we saw it. We just rested there for a little bit, and we said, oh, we only have 4 miles to go. It's going to, we're ahead of schedule. We'll finish early.
However, I took a nap, right? I laid down.
For about 10 minutes.
To watch, and you do get reception there. You can. I was watching Netflix, The Guest, with Miss Villalobos or whatever, and she was amazing. But by the way, you should watch it, The Guest, on Netflix. It's really great.
Well, anyway, so we rested and we said, oh, we're almost done. So we kind of took that last little 4-mile part from Chattahoochee Gap to Unicoi.
It was 1:00 in the afternoon when we started.
Yeah, and that was challenging.
4:00 by the time we finished those 4 miles. It was 4:00. You got to look at the terrain. And that's why we're doing this today, is to tell you, so rocky, so and downhill and everything, that it took us, that's 3 hours.
It took a while, yeah. And the rocks it was very unsteady, so you couldn't place your foot flat. So your foot, it's just, and also you're tired by this point. So to do that on fatigued legs, it was challenging. And, I've thought when I'm giving advice to others who might do this, maybe do it backwards. Do that hard part in the beginning when your legs are fresh, and then the last 10 miles are kind of cruise. Or maybe consider those side trails. It might be worth it.
Without my oboes, I never would have made it. And at mile 12, I pulled out something, a card, that I forgot about from my old Army days.
Oh, yeah.
I pulled out the Rocky theme song. Mm-hmm. That's what we used to play for people when we want to harass them when they couldn't pass the PT test. We would play the Rocky theme song for them to really agitate them, but this time it really helped me.
Making up the hill. Make it up the hill.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah.
dun,
Well,
dun.
music in general actually can be a great tool to use because a lot of the struggles on this trail are mental. So a lot of people will download music onto their phones, and it can be a nice distraction.
That's another huge thing. Don't try to listen to your music streaming. Download it.
Download it first.
Now, I don't know
Yep.
if I'm the last person on earth who knows that, but a girl on the trail, she told us that I download my music. What?
And now you know. Yeah. All right, we're going to pause for a break from our sponsor. You're listening to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Coopersmith, and my guest today is Jerry Coopersmith. Before the break, we were retelling our tales of our Georgian Appalachian Trail hiking adventure part 2. So we talked about the first 2 days of hiking. And because we're doing this the fun way, after 2 days that were pretty tough, we took a day off. And then we took a second day off.
It was so good. No, but 2 days, and we had our anniversary too.
Mm-hmm. It was our anniversary, 28 years.
Yeah.
So we took advantage of the beautiful scenery. There was a very lovely winery called the Wolf's Den.
Yeah. Is that where we went for our anniversary dinner? Wow. What a place. Say that again. The Wolf's
Den Winery.
Yeah. And what city is that?
It's in Dahlonega.
In Dahlonega, yeah. Mm-hmm. What a place. You guys should go check that out.
Yeah, you do need a reservation. And so we actually had lunch there. But beautiful views. The food was great.
What'd you like?
I had
mozzarella and
we had mozzarella, bruschetta. And I had salad because actually at this point I really wanted some vegetables, which
I didn't. I had the French dip.
Yep, it was good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good. Nice place. But everyone's dressed up, so no, I didn't.
No,
I look like a mountain man.
It was actually fun. Like I wouldn't want to go there after hiking when we're dirty and stuff, but I think just we were fine. It wasn't a big deal.
So usually on the trail I wear my black shirt with jeans, and this time I wore a black shirt with jeans.
Yeah. So our other day off, we actually decided to do a little recon for our next hike. Because our driver was not familiar with what we wanted to do, there was a way to split up a long, bit of the hike, but it was on a dirt road, and I wasn't sure that road was passable, and that was Blue Ridge Gap Road. And so I said, well, let's just take our car up there and find out. So now we do have a Jeep Cherokee, so it handled it really well.
It did.
I don't know that all cars would be okay there, but so again, like you mentioned, make sure you have a vehicle that can handle tough roads. So we did check out the road and found we could get to at least a half a mile within our gap. So
and that's where our buddy did come through because he knew it. He actually knew that gap. He described it. No, not the fellow who was driving. Tom. Yes. Actually, Tom was quarterbacking from.
Yeah, he was coaching our driver.
What was the country?
From Honduras.
From Honduras,
yeah.
He was quarterbacking.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah. So we actually did the next day make it to that. Our driver, he liked the challenge. Actually, I think he enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And the road was a little rough, but he got us up to the trail without any difficulty at all.
Yeah. So we went up. Tell him about the other one, the Dix Creek.
Oh yeah. So we reconned it. We knew where to go. We were supposed to meet our driver the next day at Dix Creek Gap. So I put into my GPS Dix Creek, which is not the same as Dix Creek Gap. No. So we went on this long winding road. Beautiful. Dix Creek is great. A lot of people fly fish
If you
there.
want to camp or fly fish, that's a place to go, man.
And we lost our satellite signal, so we're driving down this road. The GPS told us we were at the gap. No, I don't think so. I don't see the trail. Dix Creek Gap must be at the end of Dix Creek. So we kept going down. We had no way to contact our driver, no reception. So we're way later than we're supposed to meet him.
50 miles away.
So finally we said, okay, we have to go back where we can get reception. That's the only way. Then I remembered the paper map. I had a paper map in the bag. So
what a lesson.
So we look at the paper map, and sure enough, Dix Creek Gap is right off the road, and it's not the same road we came in on. So it was just a big thing. I was kind of cranky because it was my mistake.
So even
Yeah.
if you have electronic devices, make
Don't
sure to
trust
bring
them.
that backup
Yeah.
paper map, because she's got a
Ooh, we'll talk about the app too.
the app that's really pretty good,
Yeah.
actually.
But in this case, usually when I put the directions in GPS, I usually double check them against the map, especially because we don't know the area. And I didn't do that this time. So we finally got back out to where we had reception and we contacted our driver. We're now an hour late and we realized it's another hour to get to him. And it was Sunday. We're making him late for church. And so we just released him and we said, we'll try again tomorrow. So we had another day off. But
3 days. I love this hike. It was my favorite. 3 days off.
But remember I said there was that 1 mile section that we hadn't hiked off of Neil Gap. And there's also, at Neil Gap, the only building that the trail runs through is this building that has a name, which I don't have here. But so there's a building right at Neil Gap. And last time we were there, the building was closed and we didn't get to see inside. But this time it was open.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we went inside, and it's like an outfitter, so they had all kinds of resupply things a hiker might need.
So you can resupply there.
Yeah. But it also had like souvenirs and stuff, and T-shirts and things that tourists.
And bathrooms do not use.
Mine was fine, but I guess yours was a little rough.
Anyway, yeah. So that's worth checking out, and a lot of folks
Yeah.
do go there, and like you said, it's the only building on the entire Appalachian Trail, so that's a point to see.
So we got to complete that 1 mile stretch. We just did out and back, and just okay, now I don't have to worry about it. There are more important things in life to worry about, but it was on my mind.
So went out a mile, came back a mile.
Yeah. But then we wouldn't have seen this had we not had a day we had to scrap. But we went to the Brasstown Bald Peak, which is the tallest peak in Georgia. It's not on the Appalachian Trail, but it's something that a lot of tourists will check out. So we went there, we drove to the base, and then there was a walk about 0.6 of a mile up to the peak. And from that peak, you could see 4 different states, all the mountains. We saw Blood Mountain from
Really
the other
cool.
direction.
Yeah,
It
really
was pretty cool.
Makes you realize that you really didn't go on the biggest mountains around too, though. But there's some mountains that are a lot bigger.
Yeah. So it was cool. We made the best of the day, and we always talk about flexibility in this. And I'm a planner, and and it just never works out as planned.
It doesn't. So it is Semper Gumby. I mean, that is the deal. For safety too, for everything, you've got to be ready to. We ran into weather this time. I remember I was asking everybody, "What do you do in a lightning storm?" Well, if you're a hiker, you wear metal on your body and just keep walking.
Well, so on the first day when we had the downpour, we could hear thunder in the distance. We could hear it rumbling, and there were other people ascending the mountain, like even though there was thunder coming. And like, you're crazy. So I'm like, we just need to get off the mountain. We just need to go. And we didn't actually see any lightning, so it was okay.
So I still have that question, and nobody has answered it for me. But there's the thing.
Well, we did
watched
find
what
out.
other people do.
Yeah, they say don't stand next to your companion. So if somebody gets struck by lightning, only one of you gets struck.
Nice. You're
No,
betting,
they say that.
You're betting on who that would be.
I did not make that up.
And then don't stand under an individual tree. Don't be the tallest thing around. If you're under a canopy, you're actually safer than being under a solitary tree. Keep that in mind.
Yep. So it worked out.
Okay. So let's move on here to...
The next day. So we tried again. This time we found Dix Creek Gap without any problem. And our driver took us to Blue Ridge Gap on that really windy, rocky dirt road.
So once again, Dix Creek Gap to Blue Ridge Gap.
Yep. So this day was 5.8 miles, our shortest one of the trip.
Favorite walk of the entire Appalachian Trail.
We got done, in 3 hours? Like, we were done so early.
Great.
Yeah, that we went and had lunch at that lovely restaurant.
Took a nap. Hey, what restaurant did we do?
Where they had the sandwiches with the ladies, all the ladies.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that a little bit. That was a pretty good place, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was in the town of Hiawassee. So we had to drive through Hiawassee to get to these gaps.
That's right.
And we hadn't explored Hiawassee before, but it's beautiful.
Yeah,
there are
Hiawassee's
lakes
a nice
on
town.
either side of the road. We found a lovely winery in Hiawassee the day we were kind of just reconning.
Yeah.
And one thing we like to visit local wineries when we go. And one thing we've really enjoyed is meeting the owners or the people that work there. But everyone has a story.
You do.
And they're just really interesting people.
Do you got a name from that one?
That one was, I don't
shout
remember.
out? I don't either.
I don't. It'll be in the blog. So check out the blog.
Okay.
So
We fell short. I'm sorry, guys.
So we have a couple more days to talk about, which we'll do in our bonus episode. So you'll have to check that out on our YouTube channel. But for today, Jerry, what was your top lesson that you learned, either physically or mentally?
Mentally, I have nothing. I'm blank. But physically, so here's the thing. You got to plan. And if you have somebody who has a show like this that can tell you, hey, although the elevation is this, because they go, it's a bip, 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 like that. Tell them about your app.
Yes. So one thing I learned this time, I had heard about other people using the Far Out app. So on the Far Out app, you can download the Appalachian Trail or other trails too, but in my case, the Appalachian Trail, you have to buy it. But you download the map or the map on the app. And once you have it, it can actually set it to, it'll tell you exactly where you are on the trail. So I was able to plan, I'm telling you, I went this gap to this gap. I was able to put that into the app. And then as we're hiking, there's this little emoji. And sometimes it was a goat, sometimes it was a bear. And it would say, you are here. And we'd say, oh, okay, we're at 9.8. We have this many more miles to go. And it was really nice. And it showed us the elevation. It did not show us the terrain.
Right.
So that's what.
So you're saying use the map on the app to get to the gap. That's not even funny. Okay.
No, that was pretty good. Okay, so we're going to continue our talk and talk about our last 2 days of hiking in our bonus episode. But for now, I want to thank you for being here to share with everyone about your experience. And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Are there topics you would like to hear about? Send me an email at radiantpodcast2025@gmail.com. Check out our past episodes on YouTube, and we're also on Apple Podcasts and all your favorite platforms. I'll be back next Saturday morning at 7:30 with more expert insights and practical strategies to help you live a radiant and healthy life. Until then, here's to your best life.